Courtemanche, worked for Glencore for about 20 years now, 19 years. Lots of time in the supply chain space, but the last 7 years I've been managing the Coupa platform within Glencore. So there's a support team, and currently I'm focused on our project space and our value enablement space.
So kind of walk us through that shift from the kind of fragmented processes and low visibility, then having this kind of centralized control for, all your spend and your how you and those kind of approvals.
Yeah, so Glencore is a very diversified natural resources company, but with that comes some challenges because each of the commodities tends to have its own ERP system. So we had a scenario where we had a very big regionalized spend, but spread across a number of different ERP systems. And we weren't in a place to do a single ERP rollout. So we had to find a solution, and we looked at the market and found, obviously, did a comparison of some of the key market leaders, and that landed on Coupa. So it was really about bringing all of those different ERP systems and all of those different spans and different processes into one single space. We had scenarios where we negotiated great contracts, but the same item that had a contract price was bought at different prices across all those business units. So we really had a contract leakage issue, and that was the core of our business case around Coupa.
How does the Coupa platform kind of lend itself to centralization? And what value have you now been able to see now that you have this kind of one instance of spend?
I think it really brought us to the next level of maturity. We now have regional sourcing teams in place, strategic teams that look at spend trends across the market and negotiate these great multi-year contracts. We have high contract compliance, very low leakage across those agreements because we manage the data and the spend in a central place rather than depending on different ERP teams to upload and manage that data. So I think it's really, it hasn't done the work for us, but it's been a great enabler to that maturity that we've been looking for.
It's obviously kind of great to hear about the processes, but I'd love to hear more about maybe a specific case study or an example of when, now having Coupa enabled kind of led to, an ROI or more value to the business.
Yeah, there's a lot of examples. I would say one, it may seem kind of funny, but before Coupa, we were pretty paper-based, and the pandemic came along, and of course we had to push people out of the office. And luckily we had Coupa at the time because that enabled us to weather that storm. And people worked remotely. We didn't have any issues with suppliers engaging us because they were doing it electronically through the system, something that we had never done before. So I think that was a great example of some of the opportunity that Coupa brings.
Obviously, going through a transformation like this can be quite daunting, and a lot of people maybe kind of be sitting on the fence on whether to kind of take the next step, commit to it. What would you say to those kind of colleagues who are thinking about it but perhaps a bit hesitant?
I mean, the way when we were going through this, we were also, let's say, quite tentative or cautious ourselves. When you really start putting it together, though, the business case is very easy to make. Just look at your data, make sure that you understand where the issues lie. Contract leakage, I'm sure you'll find if you are on an ERP system and you're not on a cloud software. And make sure that you're really looking in detail on some of those trends in your data. Once you fully understand the data, you'll see the business case pretty clearly.